So the definition is the amount of alcohol, or the grams of alcohol per 100 mils. Okay, so for example, if I had 0.05, so you hear that mentioned as a magic number, 0.05. 0.05 means that there is 0.05 grams of alcohol in 100 mils of your blood. Okay? So that means there is 0.05 grams.
Is it grams or mil?
Grams. I don't know.
I don't think you know the alcohol.
Isn't that percent?
Per 100 mils of blood.
10 grams of alcohol.
Okay? So it's measured in 0.05 grams of alcohol in 100 mils of your blood. So, what are the things that alcohol affects? So, just a 2-second PE lesson.
Your brain.
Alcohol affects your brain. Why is that associated with driving?
Because you use your brain to drive.
Yes, okay, that's a really basic understanding. Okay. Quiet. Kyle. Shh. Okay, really quick PE lesson. Obviously we care about BAC because
It makes you think you're invisible as well. So I think maybe it's a good idea to speak.
so a couple of things. Shh. Quiet. It affects your ability to concentrate. Okay, so if you're not able to concentrate, shh, you're easily distracted, that's a problem. It affects your ability to make decisions, so your judgment. Okay, you might not make wise decisions, and making wise decisions while you're driving is extremely important. Something else that's really important is your reaction time. So you might make a decision, but you'll make it too slowly.
10-second reaction.
So Miss, would it be like if you see like a pedestrian crossing the road and then you're driving and you're like, and you hit them, but then you think, oh, there's a pedestrian crossing the road, then you stop after you hit them.
Well, maybe you wouldn't quite react that slowly, but you won't react fast enough necessarily to stop. Okay, shh, quiet.
10-second reaction time, is that bad?
Very bad. Okay,
How do you measure reaction?
do the ruler test, so they
I don't like that one. I'm down with that. Try another one.
Okay. And the other thing is sometimes your comprehension.
Because I always have that. I was watching RBT the other night, and there was this guy who was like high drunk, and he was like ridiculous, like he couldn't like do anything. I think you could have killed someone.
Yes, pretty irresponsible.
Yeah.
Boys, shh. Boys, if you can't be quiet, you need to move apart. Okay, so that's basically why this is a big issue, because you can't concentrate, you can't make sensible decisions. If you do make a decision, you make it too slowly, and you don't necessarily comprehend everything that's going on. So you might be driving very nicely at the speed limit, but you might not necessarily be sticking to your lane. Okay, so all these things mean that we care about blood alcohol content while driving. Okay, that's your end of your PE lesson. Now, it's really important that we understand what a standard drink is. Anyone know what a standard drink is?
10 grams of alcohol.
10 grams of alcohol. Someone listening
How do
here.
you know that? Because freaking 60 years old.
Oh, because normally I get through about 10 before I start.
Okay, so it's really important that we understand a standard drink is 10 grams of alcohol, not what fits in a cup. Okay? So having counting your number of drinks for how many cups you have is not counting how many standard drinks you have. Okay? Yeah, so a regular beer is already more than one standard drink. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. Okay, there are a number of things that will affect your blood alcohol content. Okay, so say you're drinking standard drinks, there's still things that make alcohol affect different people differently. The first thing that affects how it affects you is your gender. Okay? fact of life, okay? That your gender is going to affect how much alcohol you can drink. I'm sorry that females, that's just the way it goes. You cannot drink as much alcohol at the same
So
time.
you're basically saying women are soft.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, the other thing that makes a difference, pretty obviously, is how many drinks you have. Shh, guys. Okay, so your gender affects your blood alcohol content. How many drinks you have clearly affects your blood alcohol content. How quickly you drink them also affects. Okay, so how quickly you drink them. Can someone get the dog for me? Yeah, Roxy's on to it. I'm on it. Thanks, Roxy.
What are you drinking tonight, Chris?
Okay. Okay, cool. Thanks. Here you go, present for you. And the other thing that we're going to look at is how big the person is, so your mass. Now these four factors, quiet. These four factors are taken into account to create a formula that calculates your blood alcohol content. So we're going to look at those. They are actually given to you on your formula sheet. Here we go. Yep. So we're going to look at a formula that takes into account those four factors. Now, obviously, there are other factors that this formula does not take into account. All right. So this is going to be an estimate. So it will estimate your blood alcohol content based on gender, how many drinks you have, how quickly you drink them, and your mass. The things it cannot take into account, okay? It does not consider, okay, so it does not consider.
Wait, what does not consider?
The formulas we're about to write up, okay? So these four factors we take into account with our rule. The things it does not consider, the first one, if you have food, then you are going to absorb the alcohol more slowly. Okay? So
Did you know bread doesn't absorb alcohol? Doesn't have alcohol?
if you've already had the alcohol, it's too
It
late.
doesn't know yet, but like when people think, quick, just shove bread down his throat, it doesn't work.
It's not going to work, no. Okay, the food has to be already... Kyle, if you can't be quiet, you're going to have to stand outside. Okay? You're wasting my time. So it doesn't take into account if you have food in your stomach before you started drinking, you're going to absorb the alcohol more slowly. Okay? It doesn't take into account what you mix it with. Now that seems a bit silly. You've got 10 grams, why does it matter what you mix it with? So in a standard drink. Okay? What you mix it with does actually make a difference. If you have something with juice or something in it, it actually absorbs more slowly than if you mixed it with a fizzy drink. So if you had something in lemonade, you actually absorb that alcohol faster than if you had it with juice. Okay, so what it's mixed, so the mixer changes the rate it's absorbed. So having it with water or juice slows it down, but having a fizzy drink makes it faster. Okay. The other thing that makes a difference, which is kind of weird, is how warm it is. Okay. So if your drink is warm, then you absorb it faster. But if your drink is cold, then it absorbs more slowly. But we can't take that into account. Quiet. So these things just are not taken into account by this equation. So it's an estimate. So let's look at the actual equation. Now, these equations, quiet. We get two equations, one for males, one for females. They are on your formula sheet. You do not have to memorize them. They're there ready for you to use. So if you don't want to write down, that's fine. So let's look at them. The first one, BAC, let's look at the male one. Shh. Alright. So the BAC for males is this rule, 10N. Okay, what's N? N is the number of standard drinks. Okay, N is our number of standard drinks. Then we're going to minus 7.5H. What do you think H is?
Hours.
Hours. How many hours you're drinking? Okay, H is the hours you are drinking, and then we're going to divide by 6.8 M. What do you think M is?
Mass.
Mass. It's how much you weigh. So use your mass in kilograms. Mass. In kilograms. Okay, so if I were to work out the blood alcohol content of a male,
Is the formula actually just N minus H over N? Is that the formula?
Why do they make it
so this is 10 times N minus 7.5 times H divided by 6.8 times M.
Oh, so those numbers are less than.
Miss, why do they make it so complicated? Do they expect a drunk person to be able to work this out?
I know, right?
No, they don't. Now for a female, it's almost exactly the same. The only thing that changes is that denominator. Instead of being 6.8, it's 5.5. So I've left a gap here. So the blood alcohol content for a female.
I see. Thanks, Carl.
Does it make sense? Okay. So female is almost the same, except this is 5.5. Okay? Because they just don't absorb alcohol more quickly.
Don't change it yet, Miss.
I'm not going to change it. We'll get an example next. I'll give you a second to write that one down. Shh. So your mass really makes a difference because your body is pretty much about 7% blood. The bigger you are, the more blood you have, and so the same drink is diluted over more blood. Okay, so that's why your mass makes such a big difference. So a lot smaller person, one drink is going to have a much bigger effect than if you're a much bigger person, because you're spreading that alcohol over more blood if you're a bigger person. Does that make sense? Okay, so this mass makes a huge difference. Alright, so let's look at a couple of examples. Let's say we'll do a male and a female. Okay, so you ready for the example?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, I need a boy and a girl's name. So let's say.
Muhammad?
Let's go with.
Muhammad.
No, wait, that's not a girl's name. Let's
Yeah,
go
it's a boy. Or Fatima and Muhammad.
with Jane. Okay, Jane, let's say how much she's going to weigh. Let's say she weighs 58 kilograms. Oops. And I need a boy's name.
Muhammad.
Let's go with David.
Why not Muhammad?
No, because I can't spell it. Don't make me hard to spell it. Okay. How much does David weigh? Let's make him weigh 73. Oh, that's a shocker. Okay. No, it doesn't weigh 7. So Jane, shh, quiet. Jane's going to weigh 58, David's going to weigh 73. That's really important. Okay, let's say that Jane is going to have 5 drinks, 5 standard drinks. Okay, David's going to have 6. Okay, so I know how much they weigh, I know how many drinks they had. It really matters how long they were drinking. So let's say they were there for, I'm trying to party's not 2.5 hours. It says about 4 hour party. We'll go with 4 hours. Okay, welcome. So we know. Right. We know all the information that can go into our equation. So let's work out Jane's blood alcohol
Are they
first.
both 4 hours?
Yeah, they're both both at the same party. They're there for 4 hours. This is what they drink. Okay. So let's look at Jane. Okay, so Jane, remember, according to our formula, it's 10n minus 7.5h on the top. So that's 10 times, remember n is the number of hours, Connor. Shh, Tim. So that's the number of hours minus 7.5 times how many drinks they had. Okay, so there was what?
5.
Did I just put that the wrong way around? That was not helpful. Yeah, that was not helpful.
Don't.
What did I do wrong?
Oh, you did it wrong.
Yeah, because it should be how many drinks.
10 times 5. Oh, I already wrote it. It's so frustrating.
Sorry. Okay, the first one should be how many drinks they had, and the second one was how long it took them to drink. So remember, in our formula, the first one is an N, the number of drinks. The second one's H. You're not coping with this, are you, Rosie?
No.
Grab a calculator, type it in. What do we get? Someone got a calculator? Oh, definitely. I don't mind. Someone got that to type it in for me? Thanks, Ben.
So what's the bottom line?
0.062669.
It'd be a 3. Okay, let's work out David's. Yep. Yeah, sure. Sign your hand. Okay, so David is still going to start with 10 times, but he's not having 5 drinks, he's having 6 drinks.
Is it in 4 hours?
And he's still there for 4 hours. And the denominator has 6.8 on it. And he weighs 73 kilos. So let's work out his blood alcohol content. Okay, putting that in the calculator. 0.06. Okay, so who had the higher blood
Is
alcohol
that 3
content?
hours?
She did 4 hours. Okay, so despite quiet. Pardon? Oh, okay, that's alright. I'll turn it off in a second anyway. Despite having less drinks, Jane actually has a higher blood alcohol content, only just,